whining, which is starting to feel like a safer course of action than speaking. He nods in tandem with me. I suppose there have been a lot of break-ins lately, but in the nicer areas like Prest Hill, nowhere near where you live. He says this with such relish I want to pick up the soggy mass of sticky notes and newspapers and dump it on his head. You are also clearly unaware that we ran a story yesterday about how the police have nailed a group for the burglaries, which you'd know if you read the paper now and again. I bite my lip. So I trust you won't be experiencing any more burglaries from now on? Ollie snorts. I shake my head. Good. Now we've got that out of the way, maybe you can make a start on some work. He spins on his heel and slithers off towards the news desk. Oh, and Zoe, he shouts over his shoulder, maybe you could call when you're going to be on time in the future. That seems to be the exception rather than the rule these days. In the time it has taken to clean up my desk, Ollie's done a round of the female trainees, set up a date on Tinder, and completed a round trip to the canteen. He hands me a fresh cup of coffee, blue eyes twinkling in amusement. So your house has been burgled, eh? He chuckles. And on a Friday, too. What are the chances of that happening? Do you have a crime reference number? Have you called the insurance company? Anything of particular value been taken? Oh, please say they've nicked that flowery top that looks as though it had been pinched from the Chelsea Flower Show. Shut up, Ollie, I snap. It was Charlie's homework. We were on our way to school when I remembered, don't even attempt to blame your tardiness on your son. Ollie cuts in. Anyway, he checks who's around, then leans towards me, dropping his chest down to his desk like a spy evading the Secret Service. Have you heard the news? I shake my head. Stephen's about to be promoted to head of digital, which means that the news editor job will soon be up for grabs. Why don't you apply for it? A rush of air fills my lungs as I inhale sharply. Is it official? Too right. And this opportunity has got your name written all over it. Seriously, Zoe, it's been, nearly 9 years since you trundled back from the Nationals with your tail, not to mention a massive baby bump between your legs. Surely you don't want to write about drug raids and Westholme's desperate needs for wheelie bins forever. But I'm rubbish. You heard Stephen. I don't even read the paper. He bites a huge chunk off his burnt sausage, then leans back in his chair, making grotesque facial movements as he grinds it up into small pieces. No one reads the paper, he says between chews. It's crap. I don't know, I start. I trail off, not exactly sure what I mean. Come on, Zoe, Ollie cuts in. You might as well go for it. After all, spring chicken. You're nearly 40. I'm 33, I interrupt, indignance creeping through my tone. Exactly. You're not getting any younger. You need to crack on. Do a bit of ladder climbing if you don't want to get left behind while the likes of my good self steam on ahead of you and dominate you from above. He looks at me now as though appraising a prize cow. You're a good-looking girl. Nice hair, good teeth, great legs. Make a bit more of an effort and dress a bit more. He glances at my paisley midi dress. Well, a bit less like that, and you'd have the bosses fawning all over you. Even I'd take you out if you weren't old enough to be my mother. I'm 8 years older than you, I exclaim. If you say so, he says, winking before turning back to his computer to update his social media status. I glare at him, envious of his ability to be 25 with no responsibilities. Then, at a loss as to how to respond to that statement with words, I tut and focus my attention on checking my emails instead. The subject headings do nothing to lift my spirits. From rat infestation in Moorland Road to why the council are screwing us all, which on closer inspection is far less erotic than it sounds. None of them imply a story full of cheer. Wait a minute, what's this? I click on one promising heading. Letter from my granddad arrives 50 years after it was sent. I scan through the contents. Listen all, I say. A woman's granddad sent a letter from America half a century ago, and it finally arrived this week. Isn't that incredible? Ollie pulls a face. Sounds like a nice story, but Stevie boy won't go for it. Why not? I ask, though I already know the answer. Because all...